Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello has been fired. Code red, everybody alert. Sandy Brondello is out on the market.
What if I told you that the WNBA just made the dumbest decision in league history? What if I told you they fired a championship-winning coach just one day after her players publicly defended her? And what if the real reason has everything to do with Caitlin Clark? Buckle up, because this story has more twists than a Netflix thriller. What's up, everyone? If you're new here, I break down the biggest stories in women's basketball, and today we're diving into the Sandy Brondello firing that has the entire WNBA world in absolute chaos. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because this story is wild. Let me paint you a picture. The New York Liberty just got eliminated from the playoffs in heartbreaking fashion. Their star players were dropping like flies all season long. Brianna Stewart dealing with knee issues, Sabrina Ionescu hobbled, Jonquel Jones out for huge chunks of the season. But here's what's crazy. After that brutal playoff exit, not one player blamed their coach, Sandy Brondello.
What would you say to those who question whether Sandy should be here next year to coach you guys again? I'm not saying I questioned it. There's just some people that do.
I mean, to anybody that kind of questions Sandy being here, like, this is a resilient group, and she has our back and we have hers. And the way that she continued to kind of, I don't know, deal with the cards she was dealt, like, was incredible. It wasn't easy for anybody, but she came in every day with a positive attitude and a mindset to put us in our best positions possible and best foot forward. So we're not going to be a team that points fingers. You know, there's a lot of us that could have done better this season, but we're still going to fight and show up for each other every single day, and I think that's what's the most important part. So we have Sandy's back.
Thanks, everyone.
In fact, they did the complete opposite. Stewart, Ionescu, and the whole team rallied around her on social media, promising they'd come back stronger. The message was crystal clear. We believe in Coach Sandy. Then, boom. One day later, literally 24 hours, the Liberty front office drops the hammer. Sandy Brondello is out. Contract not renewed. 4 seasons of building a championship culture, gone. But here's why everyone's calling this the most catastrophic decision in Liberty history. Sandy Brondello isn't just good, she's elite. Let me break down her Liberty legacy for you. 2022. First season immediately turned them into playoff contenders. 2023. 32 wins, 8 losses, made it to the WNBA Finals. 2024.
Season.
2 WNBA championships, and the year before, in 2023, won the Eastern Conference title. I mean, what are we doing? She's got a 600 winning percentage and a ton of experience.
Are you kidding me right now? This woman delivered the ring that New York had been chasing for decades. And 2025? Even with a team absolutely destroyed by injuries, she still willed them into the playoffs. Now here's where this story gets really interesting, because suddenly every fan in the WNBA had the same thought. Indiana needs to hire Sandy Brondello right now. Why? 2 words: Caitlin Clark.
I think Sandy Brondello is the best option for us to get the Caitlin Clark of Iowa. Bring in Sandy. Bring in Sandy, and it's going to be showtime, because I believe if you get Sandy, Sabrina Ionescu's a free agent. Brianna Stewart is a free agent. We're talking big business now.
Scroll through any social media platform right now. Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere you look, fans are demanding the same thing. Fire Stephanie White, hire Sandy Brondello. Caitlin deserves better. And here's the kicker. This isn't just wishful thinking. There's actual history here that proves these two would be unstoppable together. Remember the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game?
She's a great player. It would have been good for our craft to see her, but hopefully they get to see her after post All-Star, get to play them again. As for the All-Star, I'm excited to get to know her a little bit. I think that's the part of the All-Star, is going to coach players that you haven't coached before and get them to know them a little bit and enjoy the whole celebration.
Caitlin Clark did something no player had ever done before. She literally orchestrated a trade to make sure Sandy Brondello coached her team. Think about that. A superstar player rearranged an entire all-star roster, not for teammates, but for a coach. That's not casual. That's a statement. When Clark and Brondello got on the same sideline, the chemistry was undeniable. Even though Caitlin was injured with a groin issue, Sandy didn't treat her like some mascot on the bench. She made Clark an honorary assistant coach. We're talking clipboards in hand, calling plays, motivating teammates. Brondello even said publicly that Caitlin could coach as much as she wanted. How often do you hear a veteran coach say that? Never. The fans saw this partnership and haven't forgotten it. One fan summed it up perfectly. Caitlin and Sandy are unstoppable together. That's not exaggeration, that's pure conviction. And here's what makes this even more compelling. Brondello is the one coach who doesn't treat Caitlin like a young player who needs to be controlled. She treats her like a generational leader who needs to be unleashed. Now, I have to address the elephant in the room because fans are talking about it everywhere. A lot of people believe the WNBA has an agenda against both Clark and Brondello. Think about the timeline. Sandy bonds with Caitlin at the All-Star Game, shows her genuine respect and empowerment, and then suddenly she's fired from New York. Fans are literally posting, "She smiled with Caitlin once, and now she's unemployed." Look, I know that sounds conspiracy-level crazy, but given how Clark has been treated, the hard fouls, the questionable officiating, coaches limiting her minutes, is it really that impossible to imagine? The theory goes like this. The league doesn't want Caitlin paired with the one coach who would truly maximize her power and influence. And when you connect those dots, it's honestly not hard to see why people think this way. So what's the real reason New York dumped their championship coach? According to ESPN, it was pure politics and power dynamics. The Liberty ownership comes from Wall Street. They think sports work like stock portfolios. If numbers dip even slightly, you cut the asset and find a new one. It was literally championship or bust for Brondello. But here's the insane part. She was winning. Even with massive injuries, limited depth, and impossible expectations, she coached them to another finals appearance. She squeezed every ounce of fight out of that roster. The front office somehow twisted all of that success into failure. It's like finishing a 5-star meal and complaining because the garnish wasn't Instagram-worthy. Here's the bottom line. New York's devastating loss could be Indiana's golden opportunity. Imagine the league's most empowering coach paired with its most transcendent player. That's not just a good fit. That's a revolution waiting to happen.
New York Liberty just fired their head coach. People are confused as to why, because they won the championship last year, they made the playoffs this year. In sports, there's always a scapegoat when things aren't going the way that they wanted it to go. Clearly, in New York, the standard has been raised. As Coach Tibbs learned with the New York Knicks, making the playoffs does not guarantee that you are safe anymore. They have raised the standard. They're sending a message to the fans, to the team, saying, we don't want to just go to the playoffs. We need to go to the finals and we need to win. So if it's not the players on the court that are changing, it's got to be the coaching staff. So unfortunately, that did mean Coach Sandy.
But here's the real question. Will the WNBA powers that be actually allow this dream partnership to happen? Or are they too threatened by what an unleashed Caitlin Clark with the right coach could do to their carefully controlled league? What do you think? Is this all just coincidence, or is there something bigger at play here? Should Indiana fire Stephanie White and hire Sandy Brondello immediately? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button if you found this story as insane as I did, and subscribe for more WNBA deep dives. Because if this Brondello-Clark reunion actually happens, you're going to want to be here for every single update. See you in the next one.